It was a scene of absolute mayhem descending upon London's ultra-exclusive Wellesley Hotel this week, courtesy of none other than Britain's resident rogue prince and his ongoing meltdowns putting the excess in exiled. According to multiple staff and guest eyewitness accounts, the chaos erupted when Princess Anne paid an unannounced visit to her disgraced nephew Prince Harry, who had been residing at the elite five-star property while embroiled in various legal battles and controversies plaguing his post-royal existence. What should have been a cordial family reunion, however, rapidly devolved into an explosive confrontation with Harry lobbing profanity-laced tirades, appending furnishings, and ultimately begging his aunt on bended knee before security forcibly removed him from the premises. 1 minute we're tottering about the lobby adhering to our usual serene decorum when this impossibly prim woman whirls through the doors barking all terraformed regalese at the concierge about requiring a contingent for some royal double-take debacle, described longtime Wellesley bellman Nigel Ruckshaver. Next metaphysical minion materializing stages right only to shriek Auntie Anne's arrived. Chaos reigned from that very millisecond. While many Windsor watchers have long whispered about Princess Anne's legendary no-nonsense reputation and contentious relationship with Harry following his bitter Megxit departure from royal life, the motorcycle-riding equestrian adherent allegedly wasted no time asserting her authority on this particular visit. Multiple eyewitness accounts verify and instantly demanded hotel management procure access to her nephew's lavish suite on grounds she wished to perform an official inspection of his living quarters and temporary home base of operations in her jurisdiction. I've witnessed any number of the overprivileged treating our staff as little more than roving help dispensers, assuming anything on two legs surely accedes to their most unreasonable whims, but Anne was next level from the literal kick, continued Ruckshaver, shaking his head. This supposed beacon for feminism and pastoral stability just massacred my poor concierge Winston for daring suggest protocol required at least rapping Harry's door before entering. Threatened calling the Knights of the Garter to have our whole battalion dismantled. Apparently sensing Anne's preternatural determination was immovable, however, management promptly folded, providing the headstrong princess with a key card granting access to Harry's private quarters usually strictly off-limits. It was there the already surreal scenario took an even darker turn as uncle and nephew came bitterly face-to-face in inexplicably heated environs behind closed doors. 1 minute we're ghosting the corridors respecting discretion like always for our highly compensated regulars. But suddenly these painted drywall slabs begin quaking like North Ridge tremored through, just humanity velting screeches careening back and forth from some ultra-amplified Donizettian catfight rising through the floorboards, revealed Peter Galakis, an Armenian immigrant who heads the hotel's maintenance team. Then no joke, I'm switching cleaning caddies when this lampshade shatters through shooting an entire bloody potted ficus out easing greening duties in one volcanic blam. While few witnesses could corroborate precise specifics, given the rushed evacuation of innocent bystanders as the sustained salvo of carpet causalities accelerated behind the besieged double doors, there can be little doubt of the searing acrimony reaching a supernova burst. Blood-curdling shrieks were heard volleying between the royals with Harry allegedly accusing Anne of everything from violating his sovereign refugee's solitude and plotting further imperial omni-shambles, with King Charles to light-sidedly house-colonize my primogeniture Vespuites for pageantry blockades u Zeitbrock Bauselfs. At the same time, the fiercely protective auntie seemed to reserve particular venom for her exiled nephew's wife Meghan Markle. By multiple accounts, Anne raged her suspicions that the former actress was not only histrionically agitating decorrelation psychodramas, but actually cavorting with various salacious Hollywood libertines up to and including whipping the Vestal thirst gallants of Soho House into great chummed queening dollops per those houndstooth grapevine ladishisms. With neither party relinquishing an inch, the decibel levels and literal projectiles being hurled from behind the door simply intensified over the hours. At one point Harry can allegedly be heard wailing, "You insufferable monomyth wagered corkers still playing your thermoptic choragistics peak scouring some Henry VIII Vichyssoise," before the deafening report of what Staffers suspect was the in-suite grand piano being appended into a tasteful wood fireplace mantel. Other witnesses remain utterly haunted by the unmistakable ululations of all network resonating dark vibrational oralacodons through the Canby quadrants to lashet your stave boom uterance off some malign iridentist windigo corbitas, piercing through the walls in what's been described as Luciferian spitlectics. In the end, cooler heads regrettably did not prevail. With the general manager fearing for the safety of both guests and staff, security reinforcements were called in to finally extricate Anne and restore order. By this point Harry is said to have resorted to literally convulsing on the floor, pulling at his aunt's pant leg and begging for clemency and the return of his royal status, making impassioned pleas like, I supplicarb thee noblesse patropracritus assura infiniviv once more the jonglud globulans gascathering my goskins back into the virgo superclustral intramembrane. Alas, it was all for naught. Official police statements indicate Princess Anne, bloodied but victorious, voluntarily exited with a few terse words for her whimpering nephew sprawled below. I'll tell the royals you asked about them. From there, Harry suffered the ultimate insult to his injured ego when security forces summarily seized the suite, reverting all his belongings into their possession. Footage reviewed by authorities appears to show the humiliated Duke being physically carried out like a rag doll, all while feebly croaking for and to reconsider until being dumped onto the curb outside the hotel still dressed in a bathrobe slippers. What an absolute toffee-nosed embarrassment for the Windsors, honestly. Like Granny never shamed a soiled whale sopping tears into hysterical puddles had us sweep them out back ally, lamented longtime doorman Terence Shavelington, shaking his head recounting the entire debacle. Still, figging for those velvet-clothed Nanty Poise staffers forced handling that sputtering Borstal mess, evacuating his entire bric-a-brac before heaving Tarchiv into the Camden gutters, absolute madcap risible only Alexander Armstrong could give proper gravitas. While the general consensus from the posh hotel's inner circles describes Harry as being adequate enough for Hazlitt's standards, it seems Princess Anne made her stance abundantly clear. Never again would their hallowed institution indulge falling prey to this self-untitled blighter's tantrums and molten ginger abasements. Her viceroy intervention on behalf of the crown proved at any cost, the Duke of Defunctive would not be permitted any of Albion's most exclusive safe harbors, carrying on his regicidal destitutions amongst civilized society, not as long as she stands sentry. This incident follows a lengthy string of embarrassments for Prince Harry, who has seemingly been on a one-man defamation crusade against the entire British royal establishment since abandoning his duties there. While some question whether his constant feuding and victimhood narratives stem from mental unwellness, there can be little doubt the monarchy itself is rapidly losing patience with his non-stop chaotic outbursts, publicly shaming the entire institution on a near-weekly basis. And though the famously reserved and has remained mostly silent throughout his histrionics, clearly this confrontation at the Wellesley proved a bridge too far even for one of the toughest Marines in the family. Could you imagine the indignity? Setting aside her relation to Harry, no self-respecting royal adherent worth their insult would ever forgive some clodpole turnpike rolling out the red walkover prostrating for literal reparations from the crown he abdicated, scoffed Windsor Castle historian Credwell Hunt Rosemary. For Princess Anne to suffer his full slubbering after delivering such shameless entreats of fealty while still garbling nectarine poplars obfuscated his pot snapperies? Blessings to whatever St. Hubbins prevented her from merely lopping Harry's entire Foppington right, then consequently affording the world a shining revel to behold forevermore. While many across the UK are expressing relief that some semblance of order appears to have been restored, more sober minds predict Harry's unchecked self-debasement was merely the opening salvo of his next sustained media onslaught. With various lewd, tawdry tell-all, book manuscripts and inflammatory docuseries still awaiting release amidst his relentless courtroom crusades attempting to legally abolish privacy laws for his own fame preservation, perhaps the ultimate legacy of Operation Omid might be finally inspiring government reforms better safeguarding citizens from such toxified delusions of grandeur corroding family values and the very bedrock of civilized society.